Why are black Gen Xers so pissed off nowadays? You guys grew up in the same generation I did. The generation of the 80s and 90s that dealt with the best race relations in the history of this country. You ain't never seen a Klansman. I ain't never seen a Klansman. What the hell are y'all so mad about? Why are you always claiming that everything is about white supremacy and racism? You know damn well it's not. You always got a scowl on your face, mad about something. You grew up in the 80s and 90s, again, just like I did. We grew up with Jordan on our walls, bumping Master P, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Tupac, East Coast, West Coast. Then we took it into the 2000s. We had Cash Money, back that ass up. You lived on my couch, I lived on yours. I ate dinner with your family, you ate dinner with mine. We worked together, we lived together, we went to school together. Again, I'm going to ask you, what are you so angry about that ain't self-inflicted? Is it because Donald Trump came down that gold escalator, you cried, you told us he's racist, and we told you, no, he's not? Hey, we just went on y'all's 30 years of co-signing for him, telling us he wasn't racist. It's going to take more than a because I said so to convince us. Come on, it ain't too late. Jump on the Trump train with me. I'll accept your apology.
So very interesting take from this white gentleman. He appears to be my age, maybe, even though I'm a millennial. I know I look like a Gen Z or whatever the heck you want to call it. But this Gen X, these guys are from the 60s to 80. Me looking it up just so I got the years straight. But according to that, I'm a millennial, right? So one thing that he kind of hinted at was that a lot of you guys nowadays who came slightly before me but are pretty much in my age group are super sensitive. You're mad, you're angry, you're upset about the way politics are going. We grew up bumping Snoop Dogg, Master P, all this stuff. All this stuff is black entertainment, right? Everything he kind of named off was black entertainment. And I know he got into Klansmen and stuff like that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have met a Klansman as a Gen Xer, Gen Zer, or millennial, whatever you want to call it. We all know, and the FBI even put this out, that they have infiltrated law enforcement in several different places. And it doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist. Now, I just want to clear that up first. Not that I'm swaying either way, but to be dismissive about certain things is just crazy. And I'm not saying that he did say that racism doesn't exist, but the way he put things was dismissive in my opinion. Racism does exist. People face it all the time. That's why they have affirmative action, DEI, and all this other stuff that they got going on. They're trying to even the playing field, even though we're saying Donald Trump's going to do away with this, he's going to do away with that. That's why it's important definitely to create your own jobs and to create jobs for your family, so you don't have to rely on folks having people in positions to be able to, and not to say that you can't be affected in other things like redlining, things like that, where you basically are shut out. But that's why people have communities. You have people from all across the world who build their own communities in the United States, and that dollar circulates within their community. It rarely goes out, right? Which is something that me, as being a black American, and my fellow black Americans, even though we always resort back to Tulsa and Black Wall Street, but there still are places and ways to do this. It's just, as I say, as a whole, with black folks coming together in solidarity has always been an issue, unfortunately. But a lot of the things that go on is because of systemic racism. And I'm not about to be getting on no liberal stuff and shedding those liberal tears and SJW type stuff, all those things like that. Nah, you have to look at things. If you're born or raised in a certain area or outside the United States, or you never come across people of other races, then you can't understand what it is that they really go through. If you haven't grown up in that or poverty-stricken area, or a place where opportunities are limited, where you have to create, and you can give examples, right, of certain people. This person did this person did that, my grandfather did this. Yeah, but there are people doing bad everywhere, right? But we tend to look at the biggest issue in America is the black American, right? Because you're trying to say there's a defeatist attitude, woe is me, slavery this, slavery that. This is what's being said by people of other races and the dominant society, if you will. Now, I think that needs to be acknowledged, but I think we're at a point where 60, 70 years removed from Jim Crow at this point, it's time to actually come together in solidarity and start building things and start letting that dollar circulate and start creating communities, policing your own neighborhoods in the communities that you do create, and basically don't allow the foolishness, the gangsta, the violence that perpetuates in a lot of these neighborhoods that people across the world tend to view black people as dangerous, ignorant, uncooperative, combative, aggressive, all these things like that. And that's how the world views Black America, right? Even though Black America is the most copied, used for entertainment, for sports, all these other things like that. But that's the importance of policing and having your own neighborhoods and businesses and holding each other accountable when it comes to those things. So a lot of people who have things to say about the way the world is, especially when you're complaining about Trump, because of what you're taught to believe, right? You hear things, don't get me wrong, Trump says some wild stuff, but Trump runs the country like a man runs his household at the end of the day, and you have to give him that, however you feel about it. What needs to be done, instead of people being coddled and basically not running the country like this is a joke. And that's far from it. That's why America is great, because America takes care of their people, supposed to take care of their people, don't let outside forces come in and destroy it. And that's why everybody wants to come here. It's the land of opportunity, man. So what he's saying, a lot of this stuff isn't just made up, right? You have to acknowledge the history of this country, and you can't say with the snap of a finger or passing of a law that everybody's mindset just changes. We have to be realistic about that. And if you're a thinking person, you have to know that things don't just change with the signing of a pen. Whether that be the abolishment of slavery, Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth, all this other stuff, it just doesn't go away. And the same thing with Jim Crow, it just doesn't go away. But you know how bad it was. Just trying to integrate the schools, which some people say was a bad idea. Some people say it was a good idea, but look what came with that. Old habits die hard, and the way of life for people, human rights are human rights. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.